Ladies and gentlemen, Major League Baseball in 2022 is much different than it was 20 years ago. The time of Roger Maris and Mantle going after Root's record, 1927, when Root hit the mainstay of 60 home runs in a season. Now in 2022, Aaron Judge is on pace to not only beat Maris's record for a Yankee, but beating Root's record for, I think Root was 60 home runs and he played 151 total games. Now, for those who don't know, Maris was rolled through the coals throughout the 61 season, which led to the asterisk. Basically said if he didn't match the home run numbers that Root put up in that 154 game season, it didn't really count. Now, Roger Maris was a tremendous player for the Yankees, a future World Series winner with the Cardinals. What he went through was just terrible. Now, some apologies came about when McGuire was going for the record. Of course, that's in the steroid era. Now, you're wondering how come the media is not questioning Judge's numbers. Well, here's why. Many years ago, Ted Kluszewski and Frank Howard were what he called strongmen of the home run races at the time. Frank Howard was a big drink of water. Judge, he's size 6'6", 6'7", very strong at the plate, open stance. Looks like a natural athlete. I don't think he needs steroids to hit. I think this year he's been cutting back on the strikeouts. He had the potential, just like Mantle and Maris did in 61, where he cut back on the strikeouts, more contact, and the quicker start they had this year. What I find impressive about Judge is that people respect him. It doesn't matter if it's Yankee fans or Blue Jay fans or whatever. There's a lot of respect. Now, Pujols is taking a lot of heat off Judge because he's racing towards 700. That's the only, would not say competition, but he passed Rodriguez. He's going to hit that 700 mark. Now, how much of Barry Bonds' home runs were on steroids? Not for me to say, because I saw Bonds at 170 pounds, pencil neck geek, and 220 pounds solid. I'm not an expert on steroids. I'm just a sports reporter. But all I know, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to probably break the record of 62 against the Red Sox or Blue Jays this week. I know in Toronto he's well respected because of an incident with the young child early this year. We reached out to him, a very important connection between player and athlete. But I think what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, once the playoffs start, there's going to be the most interesting playoffs of the modern era because you got the Blue Jays in the mix, you got the Mariners, you got Tampa Bay, you got Toronto on the what I call the former powerhouses of the AL East and Central. So I don't think Aaron Judge will ever be questioned if he reaches 70 down the road or 73. But it's kind of remarkable, not to sound weird, but this 60, the run towards Ruth and Maris is under the radar because New York is not the media center of baseball anymore. If anything, there's multiple facets. The East Coast media, Sportsnet and TSN is strong in promoting the Blue Jays, ESPN, all the Fox affiliates, all the myriad of TBSs and smaller networks. But ladies and gentlemen, all power to him for Judge. I'm a big fan of him. I don't want to put him down because who knows, he might sign with the Blue Jays next year if he ever gets that big contract. And the smartest thing he did was not sign a new deal with the Yankees. It could be Fort Knox. It could be, I know it's weird to say, if it's a 30-year contract or 20-year contract breakdown, you might see the first billion-dollar major league contract with incentives and duration. I wouldn't be surprised. Easily it's going to be $500 million. If it's 10 years at $50 million. But you're looking at big numbers. Could be the biggest contract of all time. And that's something to talk about the postseason. I'm not going to be making predictions in the playoffs because Tampa Bay drives Toronto nuts. Blue Jays drive the Yankees nuts. Astros are very strong with that midget Altuve. I don't like him, but I respect him. The world's tallest midget, as I call him. But this week in baseball, no pun intended, it's going to be very interesting. Yankees against Boston and Yankees against Toronto. Toronto still has a chance for the division. So it could be one of the most important weeks in the old ALS East universe in years. Thanks for listening. Bye.